CHGO Bears After Dark on an amazing Thursday night with the 12-1 Philadelphia Eagles coming in with the general manager, Jake Flannigan, sitting next to me because nobody in the company wanted me to host a show by myself. Great move by Jake. As I do have my good friend, my hero, first things first, Fox Sports 1, the amazing What's Right with Nick Wright. Nick Wright joining the show to start here. First time ever on CHGO. Nicky from his car, midway through Christmas shopping, making time for CHGO. You know, we appreciate this, Nick. This is a major appreciation coming from all of us at CHGO that you're taking time. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys inviting me on, and I also listen. I hope to build a relationship with the CHGO people because some of your guys' sister stations, the people involved with them, how do I put this nicely? They hate me. The people at DNVR, those folks, because I dared tell them that adding Russell Wilson wasn't going to work out the way they had hoped. Those people hate me. There's also some Nikola Jokic stuff they don't like that I've said. And then you guys have an outfit in Phoenix that I had the audacity to say, yeah, I think the Mavs are going to win that series. And I, of course, was right, but that didn't stop them from hating me. So hopefully I can build a good relationship with the CHGO people.
Well, and, you know, as the comments are already coming in, don't worry, Nick, we all do from Preston. Like, the Bulls show just ended, like, well, I hope that Carm takes him on with Jordan and LeBron. But, like, I don't even need to do that anymore because, I mean, the NBA just named the MVP after the greatest player to ever play the game, play anything.
Okay, real quick, real quick, 2 points on that. One is how they've named a bunch of awards now, right? A lot of them. How many were named after active players? None, right? So LeBron wasn't eligible, so stop it. That's first of all. Second of all, did you see what they did last night?
Yeah, another huge night for, what do you have, 35?
Well, Jokic had no, I'm talking about Jokic.
Oh, okay.
They gave Jokic the Michael Jordan MVP trophy in the locker room on Twitter. And I was like, the NBA is usually very smart. I didn't know they were like retro. I thought it was moving forward. This is the Michael Jordan MVP award. I was kind of surprised. I figured the first person to get it, they would have Jordan present it. They would make a big deal of it. And I assume they've wanted to name it after Jordan for quite some time, but he wouldn't let them do it until he was certain LeBron wasn't going to win another one. So he had to wait until year 20 to be fully confident that he wouldn't have to give one to the guy who's replacing him on top of the mountain. But again, I want you guys to like me, not dislike me. So let's not talk Jordan LeBron. No. But I thought it was weird that they gave. So Jokic has now 3 MVPs he shouldn't have. The one he won 2 years ago, the one he won last year, and then they gave him last year's a new trophy again, and it's the Jordan one. It's weird. Yeah,
I'm not honestly, we don't need to talk Mike because we all know we're not moving anybody off. You're allowed to be the one dude out there that has a LeBron take and all that. But here, I do think there's a Jordan connection to what's happening with Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, who's in town to play the Bears this week at 12-1, and the best in the NFL, 12-1 Eagles. And you've actually been arguing this, so you know what it's like now, at least somewhat, to be young Carm, where Jordan should have won the MVP in 86-87. He did win it in 87-88. He should have won it in 88-89. He should have won it in 89. He should have won it in 90. He should have won it in 97. But they don't give the MVP, for whatever reason, to the best player in the game. And or we are just not smart enough to figure out the only thing we look at is the records. Oh, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles have won 12 games. That's more wins than the Chiefs have. So henceforth, he must be the MVP. I don't understand.
So here's my issue.
Yeah.
Because Jordan won, and then Magic won back-to-back, and then Jordan won back-to-back. And then Jordan quit the sport for various reasons, and then he won a couple more. So Jordan, once he won one, he never had to go more than 2 years as a gap without winning another one. Go to the NFL. Guys who won multiple. Brady won one, waited 2 years, won another. Rodgers won one, waited 2 years, won another. Peyton won 5. I think he went back to back or had a 1 year gap. Favre won 3 in a row. Mahomes, if he doesn't win this year, it'll be 5 years without him winning, which is an absurdity. So everyone's like, oh, people have Mahomes fatigue. Well, he doesn't have fatigue of winning the award. They've given it the last 2 years to Aaron bleeping Rodgers. And the real outrage is 2 years ago. Patrick Mahomes was the defending Super Bowl MVP. They were 14-1 when he played because he sat out the final week of the year. He had 38 touchdowns, 6 picks.
And he was not the MVP.
It was crazy. It was crazy. And so everyone's like, oh, there's Mahomes fatigue. He's only won the thing once. And so, that irritates me.
And you're right to be irritated, for the record. I am on your side here. Best quarterback in the game, should be getting the MVP. Or we need to change the awards. Maybe we should have, and I thought that Jack Silverstein did a great job the other day saying that we should have the best player at said position.
We've lost Nick Wright.
And we have lost Nick Wright. So but I think we have Adam Hogue. Will we be able to have both Adam and Nick on at the same time? Is that going to work?
I could work that in a second here.
You can work that in a second. All right. Well, let's get Nick back in here, and we'll work Adam in a second as we.
Sorry about that, guys. That's my bad.
You're okay. But what I was saying.
Called me.
No, you're fine. What I was saying is that, look, I'm on your side here, and I don't get why there is the Mahomes fatigue here, other than the fact that they've only, I suppose, won one Super Bowl. Honestly, I don't understand what the problem is here, other than there was romance with Aaron, and it just hasn't fallen your way. But this particular year, I think that any logical person can look at the Eagles and realize that Jalen Hurts is riding on an incredible football team with the best offensive line and best defensive line in football. So I just don't get how this is that confusing, particularly this year.
Well, listen, that to me is inarguable. And I did this, and then I know you guys want to talk Bears, so we can talk Bears. But if you just do a tail of the tape, and you say, okay, Chiefs, Eagles, offensive line, who you picking? Eagles. Running backs, who you picking? Eagles. Receivers, who you picking? Eagles. Defensive line, who you picking? Eagles. Linebackers, who you picking? Eagles. Secondary, who you picking? Eagles. Yeah. Quarterback, who you picking?
Chiefs.
The Chiefs. So he's probably the MVP.
Yeah,
right, which is how I bring it back to Jordan, like 86, 87. Who led the league in scoring? Jordan, 37.1. Who had 200 steals and was the defensive player of the year? Jordan. I mean, who scored 3,000 points for the only second person in the history of the NBA to do it other than Wilt Chamberlain? Jordan. Oh, but they only won 40 games because he was playing with me and Jake and you and Adam Hogue. So let's not. I just don't understand people who do this for a living or people who watch sports for a living can't have any more nuanced take than, well, who's got the most rings, therefore he's the best, or who's got the most wins in a single season, therefore he's the MVP. We've got all these, these.
We don't want to turn the NFL MVP award into the Heisman Trophy of the early 2000s, where it's like, wait, Jason White and Chris Winkie are the best college football players? No, they were the quarterbacks of the best teams. And so, that's my issue with it. But I know you guys want to talk Justin Fields, so let's.
We do, and I think Adam's going to join us in a second.
I was hoping for more Chris Winkie talk.
That would be good. Yeah. Here's my Justin Fields question for you, Nick. If you put Fields on the Philadelphia Eagles this year, are they still the favorite to come out of the NFC in your mind? Outside of I know you're picking the Niners, but are they still number 2 in your mind if Fields is the quarterback?
I don't want to disrespect what Hurts has done, because Hurts has taken a massive jump as a passer that I think Fields needs to take. So I'm not – I think Hurts has been excellent. I'm not acting like he is a passenger on this car. I just think it's a super souped-up car. So I don't know if I don't think they're 12-1 with Justin Fields, but I still think they're the best team in the NFC East with Justin Fields. I think to me, it is a fair question in 2 years who's better, Fields or Hurts. And that's the other reason that I think Bears fans should have legitimate reason for optimism.
That's right.
Because if we are naming the best young quarterback in football, and by young, let's just go Mahomes or younger, okay? Mahomes 27. Mahomes, and this is not in order. I'm just going to name them, okay? Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Herbert, Trevor Lawrence.
Herbert and Trevor Lawrence.
Those guys, I include Trevor Lawrence. I think he's going to be a superstar. All of those guys are in the AFC. Throw Tua in if you like him. I'm not a real believer. He's in the AFC. The NFC, it's Hurts and Fields. I don't believe in Kyler at all, and that's pre-injury. Dak is getting older and not terrifying, at least to me. So, there is a huge discrepancy in quarterback talent between the conferences. And listen, Rodgers is clearly on the down slope and probably has a year left. Brady, it's not even known where he's going to play next year, but he's 45. Breeze is gone. The Niners spent all that draft capital on Trey Lance. You got to see him play. The Stafford has got maybe a year left. So that's the opening for the Bears. Is do they have? Let's just say Jalen Hurts is better. Even if he is, do they still have the clear-cut second best young quarterback in the conference? And the answer is almost assuredly yes. That's super exciting.
So they need a number one wide receiver, right?
Yep.
Desperately. And they probably need a number two as well. And you're talking about potentially having the number 2 or 3 overall pick. I know you're not a draft expert here, Nick. I'm not asking you to pick somebody out. But if you're the Bears, how are you creatively going out while you have 17,000 holes to fill? You need a whole new defensive line. You need at least 1, if not 2 people on your offensive line. You have needs all over the place here. You can't get to the quarterback. How do you – to me, you have to –
I'm 100% trading the pick.
100%, right?
I do not think it is possible to get adequate value without taking a quarterback, and you guys won't take a quarterback. I shouldn't say it's not possible, but you have to nail it so perfectly, and it's got to be the right draft. And so so I guess my point would be the Texans are going to have the number 1 pick. They're going to call it Bryce Young. That's fine. Someone else is going to love a quarterback. And if you can get the deal the Niners gave the Dolphins, where they gave up the 12th pick and 2 additional first-rounders, and then continue to parlay that. That's what the smart teams are able to do, is they get additional first-round picks, and then they have it year after year because they trade down again. Get as many bites at the apple as possible. And you traded up to get your quarterback. I think it was the right move. And I just think, I think it is, the draft is such a crapshoot that spending the number 2 pick on a D tackle, if you have the ability to turn that into the 11th pick and a couple additional firsts, that's what I would do every time.
Let's bring in Adam Hogue here, by the way, before Nick's got to head out here. Hoagie, appreciate you, brother. We were out at Hallis Hall today, an interesting conversation with Tevin Jenkins that we'll get to. Adam, Nick, say hello to each other. What's up, brother?
What's up? Looking good as
good
always,
to see you
Adam.
again.
Hair looks phenomenal. Good to see you, pal.
You look phenomenal too. As much as I can see you in the dark, but I like it.
I understand. It's a little dark. I
if we're talking about how people look, what is the end game with your hair situation right now?
Oh, nobody knows. Nobody knows. It's a mystery to all of us. We're just growing it out. Just going for the Trevor Lawrence look, and then I'll figure it out from there.
Are you actually wearing a ponytail like daily at this point?
Once what did Baker say? Woke up feeling dangerous. Every once in a while, you wake up, it feels like a ponytail day. And I do it, and then I just go back to this. But sorry, we don't want to talk about my hair. Go ahead, Adam.
I kind of did, so I appreciate you indulging. Hogue, you want to jump in with Nick?
Yeah, I kind of want to talk about his hair too. So, good question. No, yeah, I was enjoying listening, honestly. Nick makes a lot of good points. The MVP conversation was interesting. And I think he's seeing what we see on a daily basis, right? The Bears have so many holes to fill. It's great that they have Justin Fields, but there's a lot of work to do.
It's yes. However, I'm not sure if I'm drafting divisions that I could parachute into. Man, after the NFC South, I think the NFC North is my top pick. The Packers are screwed. Rodgers is not great anymore, and he's paid like he's the greatest, right? The Lions have won just enough that they're going to run it back with Dan Campbell. And you can't win at a high level with that guy as your head coach. You just can't. It's impossible. And the Vikings defense is damn near as bad as the Bears. Now, they have Justin Jefferson. That's a hell of a place to start. But they also are, going to have to start figuring out the quarterback future there as well. So there's not AFC East. You drop in there, you got to deal with Josh Allen. You got to deal with what they're building in Miami, and if the Jets were to get a quarterback. AFC North, you have Lamar and Burrow. Christ. AFC South, you have deal with the fact I think the Jags are going to be real good real soon because I believe in Trevor. AFC West, obviously, you have Mahomes, and then you have Herbert. The NFC West, the Niners don't need a quarterback. They're so damn good. And the NFC East might have 4 playoff teams. The NFC North and the NFC South are the 2 spots you'd want to be in if you want a quick turnaround. And I give the Bears credit for ripping it down to the studs so they can do it cleanly and not have to deal with this other stuff, bad contracts and stuff like that moving forward.
Nick, I'm just waiting for you to have a strong opinion about something. Go ahead, Adam.
But and that's the one thing I love about the NFL is you really can strip it down, and you have to take 1 year where you eat all the dead cap money in the world, but then you're usually free
right.
if you're willing to eat it. That's the beautiful thing about the NFL and how you can turn these things around quickly. And I agree with you, Nick, because we were talking about it earlier this week. The Lions right now, they might not make the playoffs, but are they right now the 4th most dangerous team in the NFC? And regardless of whether that's true or not, just the fact that it's a conversation. Are we really scared of the Lions going forward?
No,
the Bears quarterback situation is probably already the best one in the division.
I don't think it's probably. I think it's definitely. I think it's without a doubt the best one in the division. And the second best one might be Jared bleeping Goff because he's on a decent contract and he has shown throughout his career what Goff can't deal with is getting hit or the threat of getting hit. But if he's confident you can't hit him, then he's a decent player. And so, yeah, to me, there's no question about that. And the only thing that I didn't love that the Bears did was stripping it down to the studs and not investing somewhat in some pass catchers for the kid that they're trying to develop. And then you end up kind of panicking and probably overpaying a bit for Claypool, but whatever. Everybody acknowledges Howie Roseman is one of the best in the world at this and what he's done in Philadelphia. Keep in mind, Philadelphia might, go to the Super Bowl and have a top 5 pick because a team that refuses to take their medicine in the Saints traded them their pick so they could move up to draft Olave. Even Roseman drafted Rager over Justin Jefferson. You know what I mean? Guys make mistakes.
Yeah.
And so or did he was maybe Justin Jefferson was already off the board and then
No, you're right.
Or whatever. Okay, and
You're
so right. Which by the way speaks to my point of why I would be hard pressed to not trade that pick if it's a top 3 pick and I'm not drafting a quarterback, because you just can miss. Like, it's just even the can't miss guys miss sometimes.
Right. You want swings, which is. This is overlapping so many of our conversations. Like, you look at the Niners right now. That's why you draft a quarterback late, because all of a sudden, because they miss all the time. Tom Brady was drafted 199. Brock Purdy is all of a sudden, I don't know, he could win the damn Super Bowl if he can get healthy and with that team. So you, Nick, before you go here, you're a self-proclaimed arrogant Chiefs fan, and I absolutely love the fact that your Sundays, you've got some weird setup where people cannot text you because you have to watch the game, and your good friend Laszlo, whose podcast I listen to, wants to be your friend during the game, and you're just like rudely telling people, don't contact me.
I can't deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I just want to riddle you this. For Mahomes to have the career that you want him to have so you can talk about him the way you want to talk. How many Super Bowls does he have to win? Because at some point, if every year they keep on coming up short, it's going to start to become a little bit of
that's all right. Stop with every year keep on coming up short.
They've won one.
It has been okay. He's been to the playoffs 4 times.
I understand.
So Tom Brady. Let's just talk Tom Brady for a moment, okay?
Yeah.
Greatest winner in the history of the sport. Agreed? Yeah. Tom Brady.
Sure.
21 healthy seasons, okay? 21 seasons, right? 21 healthy seasons. I'll throw out the year he blew out his knee.
You can already tell where Nick's going with this. I love it.
Tom Brady has been 14 conference championship games. Carm, even you can do that math. 14 out of 21, that's 67% of the time. Patrick Mahomes, 4 seasons, 4 conference championship games. That's 100% of the time. Tom Brady's been to 10 Super Bowls, 10 out of 21. Carm, even you can do that math. That's just under 50%. Patrick Mahomes has been to 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. That is 50%. Tom Brady has won 7 Super Bowls, 7 out of 21. Carm, you can do that math. That's 33%. Mahomes has won 1 out of 4. That's 25%. So that's where he's just lagging. So the idea that he's Aaron Rodgers, that he made a Super Bowl early and has never come close since, then give me a break. He has some fun Patrick Mahomes facts. He has never lost a non-Super Bowl playoff game in regulation. The guy has won a Super Bowl, lost a Super Bowl, and lost 2 AFC title games in overtime. And it should be noted, the first one he lost, he never touched the ball because we lost the coin flip, and we didn't go crying to the league about having to change the god dog rules like those babies in Buffalo did. Get a stop, Buffalo. And so, yes, if Mahomes goes another 6 years without winning a Super Bowl, it's disappointing. But you went on a nice long story about how idiots in the media, all they can do is count the rings. And I have to hear with Jordan never lost and Brady's got 7 rings. Nobody honestly believes they've ever seen a quarterback more talented than Patrick Mahomes. He's never had to play a road playoff game because his team has home field advantage every year because he's so dominant. And it's for a team that hadn't been to a Super Bowl in 50 god dog years. And they're about to go back this year. So, and by the way, the answer's 4. He's got to get 4 Super Bowls.
See that I made the mistake of just not calmly asking the question, and just allowed you to go into your defensive mode. Where I just really wanted to ask the question: how many does he need to win? And how often before it actually starts to really bother you, and then you've got to.
And he needs to beat the Bengals. The Bengals, the fact that a guy exists that holds over Mahomes irritates me. So he needs to beat the Bengals. That's it.
Yeah, and you've got Cincinnati ahead of Kansas City right now, correct?
Oh, well, that's the committee. That's my shadow committee that creates the tiers. I think Kansas City is the best team in the league, but Cincinnati has earned it. Cincinnati started 0-2, and since then has been as good as anybody in the league.
So you're being fair. All right. Listen, I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. I know you've got family going on right now, so I don't want to hold you too long. But let's just do this again, Nikki, all right? But thanks for the time.
For sure. Can I ask one quick question before I go?
Yeah.
Didn't
Uh-oh. Say it again. Didn't what?
you say the guy on the right is your boss?
Yes.
The guy in the Bears hat, Jake.
Yes.
So why didn't you let him talk? I mean, my God, the guy can't get a word in edgewise. I mean, he's your boss, Carm. Let the guy say something.
All right, hey, when it's all said and done, greatest Chiefs tight end, Tony Gonzalez or Travis Kelce?
It's already Kelce.
It's Kelce.
Yeah,
I agree.
Kelce.
Yep.
If Kelce, not even when it's all said and done, if he never plays again, it's Kelce. I love Tony. I love Tony. But Tony never made you fear the way Kelce does. Kelce is, when it's all said and done, I think Kelce is the greatest tight end ever.
Woo.
But he's already the greatest Chiefs tight end ever.
And
See, that's a good question.
Thank you.
Yeah, I should have let Jake talk more. You're absolutely correct. And for the record,
good questions to answer. Yeah.
For the record, I worked Nick and I's relation for people who are just watching CHGO and have never seen us together. We worked together in Kansas City. Nick left to go to Houston to do the morning radio show. They ended up blowing out the whole show. Nick ends up going on social media and saying the worst thing they ever did was getting rid of Carm. So he got me a job in essess at Yahoo's. This is all true. And now today, full circle, he's trying to get me fired.
But listen, Jake, you can't fire him because the part of the story Carm's leaving out is, yes, I did go on social media hoping to help him get a job. I didn't know it also meant he'd live with me. And so, like, Carm's doing great at CHGO
Absolutely.
and in Chicago. So keep it up. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for inviting me. I'm going to go. I'll see
Thank you,
guys.
Nicky. Appreciate you. And that is true. The job ended up being in Houston. Nick was living in Houston, so I moved. I just basically told him, like, I have no idea where I'm living, so I'm going to stay with you for a month. And then I ended up staying with him for 3 months. And then he said, you can stay with, because the job was terrible, and I knew that thing was not going to, I just knew that outfit was not going to last. And even though they're still going now, but whatever, that's a story for another time. But he said, you can stay however long you want. But as of tomorrow, it's going to cost you $100 a night.
Wow. That escalated quickly.
It was tied into he wanted me to break up with my girlfriend at the time. Although if you break up with your girlfriend you could stop complaining about that, you could stay here forever for free. That's a true friend there, Adam Hogue. Yeah. On some level. Okay.
He was right about the girlfriend.
Who's ever right about these things? But yes, we're all in a better place right now, including, who's in a better place right now? It's before we get into everything that happened at Hallis Hall today. You're going to love this story, Jake. We had a good fun with Tevin Jenkins. But
could you just real quick?
Yeah.
Can you fix the drawstring on your sweatshirt? It's driving me crazy.
Oh, the one over there.
This one?
On the other side.
The other
you need to pull them both. There you go. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. You look great.
I'm so sorry. We're in a different studio. I'm uncomfortable. I don't feel like myself.
I think it's great. We're good.
Yeah, no, we're rolling. Green Ridge Farm loves this studio, by the way. They are what you should be having for dinner or breakfast or lunch tonight, tomorrow, the next day. They are Chicago's local meat and cheese company, and they do offer you the better all-natural option. All-natural deli meat, sausages, their famous meat sticks. We talk about them all the time. Chicken, Black Forest beef, jalapeno cheddar, spicy chili. You know what to do. greenridgefarm.com. When you put any 3 meat products in, when you make an order at greenridgefarm.com, you get a pack of meat sticks in your cart. They are free when you put in the code CHGO. Kurt's calling me a dork. Casey's saying that Hogue's got fashion. This is what's going on. So, all right. Bears After Dark with about 17,000 topics and I don't know how much time we have to jam it all in. But so at practice today, Fields back on the field. He's going to play. But the highlight of practice for me today is I went up to Tevin Jenkins because Adam and I were talking with Corey Wooten on Monday about moving Jenkins, or I was hypothesizing, let's put him at left tackle. Let's see what we can do. 3-10. These games don't matter. You want to lose them. And let's see if Jenkins can actually be an elite left tackle because we don't have one. So then I went up to Tevin today, and I'm like, hey, what do you think? Left tackle.
Yeah.
And he just looks at me kind of sideways like, yeah, if you told me that I could practice there for a week, but like not in the middle of, like just go over there and do it.
Right.
And I told him that, hey, well, we were having this conversation on the show, and then I pointed at Hogue. I'm like, that guy doesn't think you could do it. And then
Wow.
Well, he just didn't think that he not that he couldn't do it, but that
not a good idea.
He would have to build up to it.
Yeah.
And then Tevin and Adam had a moment. You could take it from there, Hogue.
Well, I wasn't aware of that other moment you had though, where you sold me out and said,
I didn't say it like that. I just said we were having an argument, and I'm like, and by the way, and he was like, he's like, yeah, no, I could not do that, and I was like, well, then that guy right there was correct, and that's how it actually went down.
Yeah, no, that was that's a good way to settle arguments that we have about these players. You just go up to the players in the locker room and ask them.
Well,
I loved it though. He's right. I mean, you're right, or I'm right, he's right, whatever. Like, you just can't do it on short notice. I don't want to say you can't. Like, if you were so far down the depth chart that you were in an emergency situation, like, you might actually have to move Tevin Jenkins to tackle at some point. But it's just really not something you could just do overnight.
Let me ask you this, right turn, because I mean, the Bears locker room today, it doesn't feel like a 3-10 team.
No.
It doesn't even feel like a 500 team. It feels like they're on their way to the Super Bowl, right? I mean, I'm wondering, can you remember a time and you've covered the team for how many years now? 12?
Yes.
Can you remember a time where you had a team that had no chance to go to the playoffs, which is many of the years that you've covered the team, and it's this positive around there?
No, I think the only years that would comp at all would be like the first couple of years of John Fox, because it was so low coming out of 2014 that like, so I'd have to maybe 2015, but even that team I think went 6-10 when it was all said and done. But that's probably the comp is 2015. You had a new GM, a new head coach. The team kind of knew that coming out of 14 they weren't going to be, any good, but. It is something, and I don't. It's probably a combination of the good culture building they've done and just the understanding. I think that they, players want to win and they're going to do everything they can to win, but they're also not dummies. Like, they understand when they sign with a team, what's going on there. And a lot of them go into it embracing just their opportunity to get snaps and to get an opportunity to get on tape. Whether it's for the Bears or for other teams. So I think that's probably what you have going on. Everything like we do, a lot of things are based on expectations, right? I think players have those expectations too. They understand what the reality is. And so when you're in a different situation like last year at this time, where quite frankly, things weren't much better, right? I mean, they managed to win 6 games, but one of those was the Seattle game on Christmas weekend. But like, I'm just talking about in terms of wins, things weren't much better, and yet it felt so much worse, is my point, because you had the expectations, the understanding that coaches. I remember we talked to, oh my Lord, I'm blanking on the guy's name now, the QB coach.
That guy.
Yeah.
John DeFilippo.
Yeah, John DeFilippo, nice. Man, what a fall he's had. I mean, one-time head coaching candidate, and now I can't remember his name a year later. I feel bad about it. I actually really do like John DeFilippo and think he's still a good coach, but I just remember we had like a very real conversation with him late in the season at one of our assistant coaches gatherings, and he got into like some real talk about like what it's like to be in this situation where, without saying out loud that he knew everybody was getting fired, he was talking about how, the effect it has on families and children and wives, and being in these situations are just not easy at all. And it's just a very different reality this year where, I'm not saying the entire coaching staff's going to be back without anybody being replaced, but it's not even a topic of conversation.
Yeah. It's still, you guys have been talking about this for weeks, but it has to be a combination of everything still kind of feels new in the program, right? It's building. And so there's not that sense of like a gloom over it. And then also 75% of the people in the locker room can't even rent a car. I mean, they're all so young. I mean, and the veterans that were on the team with Quinn and Roquan and even Eddie Jackson, who's now hurt, and some others aren't really there. There's not that like established, like I've been doing this way for a decade, like vibe in the locker room, which Adam, I know you're well aware of, like things that are kind of just, that's how it's been done here for years. And that's not really it at all in that, right? Well, I'm assuming.
And that's why I want to point out too, that I don't think it's just all like positive kumbaya because it's like this great culture. I think it is a good culture. I think they are doing a good job with that, but I think it's also the reality of the roster and that there's so many guys right now in that room that sort of understand and know that there's a 50-50 or maybe less chance that they're going to be on this same team next year. So all you can do is go out there and ball out every week and try to put good film out there for your next job. And so I don't think there's so much of a, feeling sorry for yourself vibe because they understand the situation and they understand the business side of it and what they can do to have a successful 2023.
Yeah, a couple super chats coming in here. Preston White, I work when the day show happens, so I'll give some love after dark. Great work between you guys and the Bull Show. I get all the coverage I need. Hey, Preston, we really appreciate that. Thank you, brother. And Monzi coming in with a $4.99. All I know is whenever the Bears win a Super Bowl, Chicago will have the all-time parade, and the record of grown men crying will break me. I'm a grown man. You know what? On that level...
By the way, you don't have to watch live. You can always watch our daytime shows later.
Yes, anytime
or listen
you
as a podcast.
Yeah, we're here for you live, but we're here from you whenever you need it, on demand. That's what we do here at CHGO. So both. And speaking of on demand, let me actually do something in the moment here because one of our fine sponsors, Game Time Tickets. I'm actually going to the Hawks game tonight because I'm all of a sudden Mr. Hockey. I don't know what the hell's going on over here.
You are Mr. Hawk.
I am Mr. Hawk, and right now, if you download the Game Time Ticket app and you want to go see the Hawks with puck drops in about 11 minutes, you can get in for $11 on the Game Time Ticket app, and that's also 314 row 15. So your upper corner, it's a great seat for hockey. Love that ticket. So download the Game Time Ticket app. It's not just for Blackhawks. Obviously, it's for all sporting events and concerts and shows. 15 million people have done it. But secondary market, no better price than on Game Time Tickets. And if you do go to the Hawk game, hit me up on Twitter, and I will come and say hello.
And what section was that, you said?
That was 314.
Well, that's interesting because I believe tomorrow night, the sold-out Chicago or CHGO Bulls takeover, we're all meeting at Crossroads on Madison, taking the shuttle over, and we'll be in section 314. So if you're looking to kind of hang out, we're sold out right now, but there may be some other tickets in that section. Come hang out, see Matt Peck, see Big Dave, see Joey, see the rest of us who will be there, and hang out with some other Bulls fans, and let's see, hopefully a win.
Yeah, hopefully a win is right. And by the way, to the Bulls fans out there who are freaking out, people like Chris Emma, who yelled at me today at Bears practice, saying like, Bulls, these are tight overtime games. They're right there. Let's not completely have this is not a team that has no chance of turning it around. I understand it's been incredibly disappointing to this point, but I have some level of Jake Flannigan, perhaps optimism.
More optimism right now than me for the Bulls.
Yeah.
What's their record since Lonzo Ball got hurt last year?
3-48. It's not good. Yeah. But
that's right.
But
you tell me Lonzo's coming back healthy, and I will buy your positivity. But
that's right.
Until they have a real point guard.
I honestly don't think that Lonzo's ever going to play another game for him.
Oh my God,
that's what I think is going to happen. That's a little probably too over the top, but
it's kind of how I feel.
So
too.
Here, Adam, before you get out of here, I'm doing the research on the Eagles. The one thing they don't do well is stop a quarterback from running. Daniel Jones last week and the Giants averaged 7 yards a carry when the quarterback took off. Tell me that the Bears are not going to try to win this game using Justin Fields running the football. Because it was interesting today, Luke Getsy was asked about, how come there were so many less runs? And he didn't say like, hey, because we're trying to protect the quarterback. He said because we only had 52 offensive plays. If we had 70, it might have looked different. And I'm just like, you're just saying that just to say that, right?
Yeah, he is. I mean, if you listen carefully, Justin Fields told you post-game that he, at one point in that game, had a little bit of aggravation of his shoulder. And if you pay attention to the QB runs in the second half, I think there was only like 2, like in the last 3 quarters or something like that. So that told me that there was at least some pain that came back during the game. And that was at least a factor into how that played out. But also, they were throwing the ball well. I mean, Justin had one of his and so if you have a dinged-up quarterback who is throwing the ball well, why would you run more? So I would hope that it's more of a feeling out what you need to do against his defense, which is a really good defense, deep D-line, worried about this offensive line in this game. And I do think that one solution to, this is kind of obvious, but one solution to keeping the Eagles from just teeing off on Justin is to keep them honest with some design runs in there. I think you got to have a balance of both.
You can run the ball against them. The Bears should at least have some level of success out of the backfield. But I'm just, to be honest, I don't want to live in fear over here. But this game is terrifying. They have the most sacks of any team in the NFL. They have the second with 49. They have the second most quarterback hits of any team in the NFL with 92. We just saw Kyler Murray go out. Now, he wasn't hit by anybody, so it's not exactly the same thing. But just let's get through this week, honestly. I don't care if I picked the Eagles to win at 32-10. I would give up my pick early here. But, that's fine. Just get through the game without Fields, getting dinged.
You guys remember the Bears-Browns game last year?
Yes, I do.
I don't want that. I don't want that to happen this week. And I feel like this Eagles team is just getting rolling. I feel strongly this Eagles defense has enough in the tank to get them all the way and win a Super Bowl. I don't know if they will, but it scares me a little bit. And I'm probably in that camp of you were with Fields. Hey, maybe we need to, if there's any sort of question, why push it? But I get it. It's the situation. He's out there. It's going for the experience. Hogue, you're for it, right? As long as he's mostly healthy. And I get that now more too. It's just I can still, as a Bears fan, be a little worried.
Yeah, no, right? Absolutely. I just they gotta go back to what they did against the Patriots, the Cowboys, the Dolphins, where Fields in those games actually didn't really get hit on his runs at all. I mean, there were smart design runs where he was smart about getting down or getting out of bounds. And as long as you're doing it like that, that's fine. The problem is once they got in that Lions game and then the Falcons game after that, I thought that they went too far the other way, and they were actually putting him in harm's way, despite the fact that he was telling everybody, my legs are tired. And so that's where the balance went too far. So I have absolutely no problem, even with the shoulder, if they run him the way they did against the Patriots and Cowboys earlier in the season. It just can't, and I don't think it will be, to the other extreme where it actually put him in harm's way and then it cost you.
Right. I guess I'm fearful of the defense dictating the game and what the offense does, which I know that's not the way to that you want it to play out. But if that occurs, then all bets are off, because that's where he runs into trouble, right? He's then needing to make a play that because he's getting pressured.
Right. Well, and there's going to have to be some scrambles in this game.
That's right. So. You're right. All right. I'll just have a drink or something during the game.
Yeah, a couple.
Look, I don't know if you noticed, Carm, when I was sitting at my cubicle today at House Hall, but I was actually going back and watching some of the Washington game earlier this season.
I did notice you were scouting something. I didn't peer over your shoulder like too much of a creeper, so I didn't see what exactly it was, but I saw football over there. Keep going.
Well, I think sometimes it's a healthy exercise to go back and look at some of the kind of what was going wrong earlier in the year to kind of get a healthy perspective on what they fixed. Because sometimes in these long seasons, you sort of forget, like, oh, yeah, that was going on in that game. And anyway, I have a few takeaways from rewatching that game. One is it was just a reminder that Fields was taking a beating against a good D-line without the design runs. And the design runs that they put in during the mini-bye were what went a long way in helping avoid that.
I see.
So, yes, you can be scared of him running with the ball, but if you take that element out completely, you have a sitting duck against a good defense. So that's a huge takeaway going into this Eagles game. Just don't forget that, because he was and to his credit, he got some passes off in that game. Where he got smoked and still completed the pass. Right before halftime, there was one. And I remember he went to the locker room in that game at halftime, and I was worried he wasn't going to come back. So, and then he did, and he gutted it out, and he actually put them in a position to win the game, and just the catch wasn't made.
When you put it like that, Hogue, that makes me feel better, and remind us how many points the Bears offense scored in that game.
13.
Exactly.
No, 7. No, it was Washington. It was 13-7. The Bears had 7. And they got them all on that home run pass to Dante Pettis. The other two takeaways I had from watching that is Roquan Smith, really good at football. And you see him running around, and you're like, oh, yeah, they don't have him anymore. So that explains a lot of things going on in defense. And then the other takeaway is, oh, my God, Carson Wentz is terrible. like if any, and I don't think they're even doing this in Washington, but if there is anybody out there like Carson Wentz is healthy, should be playing over Taylor Heineke, they're just so wrong. I mean, Wentz missed so many throws in that game, like 7-yard outs that just like landed at the receiver's feet. It was so bad. He's just not good. But Roquan Smith is good.
Yeah, his best play in that game was a block, right?
Well, that is the funny thing about me bringing up those two players is Carson Wentz did smoke Roquan.
Yeah,
that block in that game.
It was,
but that was Carson's best play, and it was Roquan's worst. Otherwise, the other player was a lot better.
Just for an exercise here, and I got to give my guy Danny Park a little credit on this, but just when you're doing the Eagles versus the reason why I'm tying this into Roquan is who you're paying. Like if you look at what the Eagles, best team in the NFL, arguably right now, who they pay, cap hits this year, top Javon Hargrave, by the way, a free agent who the Bears perhaps will be looking at. That'd be a defensive tackle. Then you got a right tackle in Lane Johnson. Then you got Darius Slay, a cornerback. Then you've got Brandon Graham, defensive end. Then you've got a center in Jason Kelsey. Then you've got a wide receiver and AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, left tackle, Jordan. How do you say it? Mailata. Whatever. You get the
sing beautifully.
Yeah. Fletcher Cox, defensive tackle, a guard, Isaac Simalo. All right. So here's the best, and here's who they're paying.
Not the linebackers.
Yeah.
And there's a good, not a perfect comp, but a good comp that Will DeWitt wrote about this week at allchgo.com that people should read about. But TJ Edwards is their Jack Sanborn, the Badger that they got undrafted, who turned out to be a pretty damn good player, and they extended him before the end of last season as he was about to, I think, be a restricted free agent. So, I mean, Sanborn's a couple years from having to be in that situation, but, they found their version of Jack. It actually took longer, too, because Sanborn is having a much better rookie year than TJ Edwards had. But the point being, they were able to find a linebacker to play in there, and they extended him cheaply compared to all those other contracts and players you were just mentioning too. So I guess that's the positive look at them letting or trading away Roquan Smith.
Yeah. What are you drinking tonight? What are you doing over there? I know you're going to the lake tomorrow or something.
We got the Goose Island Christmas IPA going here.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, look at the holiday festivities going. Yeah, I was still debating going to the Bulls game. I was not aware it was sold out, so I guess that decides that.
Talk to upper management. You might be able to get in.
We can pull some strings if necessary.
Or I'll just hit the Game Time app and then still meet you guys at the bar. It's all good. Yeah, so weekend plans haven't been decided.
Okay.
My weekend plans consist of Bears, Eagles, Sunday at CHGO with a little Argentina, France on the screen probably before we start our pregame show.
I forgot about that. Should have brought that up with Nicky. He's a huge soccer guy. By the way, Jeff Barger, you just made my night with that chat. You guys have no idea how good Fields is. I'm from Ohio, and I've been a Buckeye fan for almost 50 years. He's the best player I've ever seen in Columbus. I'm a huge Bears fan now. We will take that, Jeff, as much as, we got a Badger and a Hawkeye and a Wildcat. And where are you at over there?
Redbird, Illinois State.
There we go. And a Redbird.
Roll Birds.
That's right.
Fear the bird, baby.
I got a Nick Wright question before we get out of here.
Okay.
He's not on the show anymore.
Yeah, I know. I was going to ask him this directly, but it didn't really come up. I didn't know if it would or not. Okay. So one thing about Nick that I give him a lot of credit for was Carm, at your wedding, Nick made me feel like he knew who I was, even though it was the first time we were meeting. Do you think he actually knew, or did he just do his homework before? Did he ask you, hey, Carm, who am I sitting with at my table? Who do I need to do homework on before I get into this wedding so that when I get there, I'm going to scan his Twitter account. I'm going to know what he's doing.
I don't know exactly, but I will tell you this. He is an outstanding strategist.
Yeah, well, yeah, and he's probably more prepared than anybody in our business before they, hit the on button on the microphone on any given show.
He traveled in, and so he was at the rehearsal dinner, and I just felt like if he wanted to, he could get up there as somebody who's coming in. You want to say something, just whatever, informal thing. And so he takes the opportunity, of course. And he knew no one there 5 minutes before. And the next thing you knew, he just had the whole family just outlined. And I'm like,
that's incredible.
How did you pull that off? And everybody, they bought it too. Oh, thank you. You're absolutely right. I do love planting flowers or whatever the hell, it was unbelievable. I'm like, this is complete bullshit, but I'm entertained.
He made me feel like he had been following my Bears coverage for years.
And that's probably true. But how much Bears coverage really is he digesting, considering where the Bears have been at? I don't want to.
Good for him. I'm a big fan.
He's a great friend, and he's obviously pretty good at his job. So, all right, Hogue.
Hold up.
Yeah.
I got a question for all three of you before Hogue, we let you go.
Okay.
I put a poll up in the YouTube chat here. When will the Bears win their next Super Bowl? I want to get your thoughts. I have 1 to 3 years, 3 to 5 years, 5 to 7 years, or 7 or more years. And then I'll let you know the results of the poll after.
And that starts with next season, you're saying?
Correct. Okay. Yeah, they're not going to win it this year.
I
don't think.
I'm taking 1 to 3. That's right. I'm in that optimism.
I'll say I mean, the way the NFL works, if Justin Fields is for real, it's to the point that they're gonna win one, then it really kind of needs to be 1 to 3.
That's right.
Exactly.
Because otherwise you end up restarting anyway.
You could, if you want to win the bet, take the 7 and over.
Yeah, mine is.
I was gonna say, I mean, but I can't say that anymore. I can't be like the guy who's just like, "God, it's never gonna happen." Now that they have Justin Fields,
right? Isn't it a weird feeling? It's like he provides so much hope. We've never had that before.
We haven't.
For what it's worth, our YouTube viewers all agreed 46% of the vote, 1 to 3 years.
That's what I'm talking about.
Second was 3 to 5 years with 41% of the vote.
And I bet most of those people that said 3 to 5 were thinking year 3, which I think a lot of people are on. I still think next season is the year they take advancements, they move forward. I feel great about the 2024 season, which would go along with my prediction of 2024 being the greatest year in Chicago sports history. Although the last 6 months have made me rethink that. But yeah, I mean, they would then be in the Super Bowl in the very beginning of 2025. But I think most people think the 2025 season would be the year, right? That would be 3 years from now.
I'm actually stunned by the optimism. But I love it. Hey, second-year quarterback busting out, tons of cap space, tons of draft picks, a GM that most of us are buying into right now. It adds up. It adds up. All right, we got to get out of here in a second. So, Hogue, I'll see you Sunday at – are you really coming for the soccer game? 8 a.m.? No way.
Well, Fox has been lying to you the entire World Cup. The game starts at 9. They've been every single ad they run, they tell you it starts an hour before it actually starts. It's incredibly annoying.
So you're going to be here at 9 o'clock for France and Argentina.
Yeah, Messi.
I think so. I think I'm going to try.
All right. Might have to bring in bagels. Might have to go the bagel route. Let's go.
I just don't know who to root for. Is it the team that I ended up walking down some random street of Paris, marching in a parade with the Argentinians, or the French that were so unbelievably nice and gave me all the great food and liquor while I was there?
Yeah, I think you got to go for France just for recency bias. But,
Messi, go with the best.
And what about an Mbappe?
Yeah,
see, those two I didn't know until I was in Paris are now teammates on PSG.
Oh my!
I didn't know Messi was on PSG.
I don't know what PSG is.
Paris Saint-Germain.
Oh, of course. Did you have that?
I did.
You did. Okay.
Or Paris Saint-Germain.
Okay, I got to go to the Hawks game. I love you,
Mr. Hawk. See ya.
See you, man.
Hey, very important new partner of ours, private internet access. We are hooking you up like more than this is a good one. So check it out here. With all the blackouts, if you ever struggled to watch the Bears here at home, maybe you live in Indiana, you're stuck in a Colts market, or perhaps you're a Bears fan in Wisconsin and you get the Packers. No one deserves that. Private internet access is going to hook you up. So this is an incredible virtual private network, VPN, that can fix all of this for you. This is what you want to do. I'm telling you, this one is like the no-brainer of all no-brainers. Right now, you go to www.playpn.com, playpn.com/Bears. They're giving you an 83% discount. 83%. So it's $2 a month. There's 4 extra months. So we're talking, this is a 2-year deal. You're spending $2 a month. And literally wherever you go, you can set up your VPN that you can get the Bear game or any other sporting event that you want to see. This is a super cool offering that we have for you. So there you have it on the screen. Playpn.com/Bears. $2.03 a month with the 83% off. This is not going to be around forever. So if you are watching right now, great opportunity to improve your internet viewing life. $2.03, even in these perhaps challenging economic times for some of us out there. That is a steal. So thank you to our friends at Private Internet Access for jumping on board here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome partner. Any final thoughts over there, Sir GM Jake Flannigan?
No, I mean, I think it comes down to health. It's been the priority now for the last several weeks when we saw Fields, go down a bit, and just want to see the Bears progress, a little bit of player progression, stay healthy, and I don't want to see them win. I don't have any shame saying that.
I can't believe you just said that.
I know it's been weird for me. This is probably the strangest Bears season of my life. and I'm okay with it now because I know what's ahead. Like we were talking about with Fields, we have the franchise quarterback for the first time ever. And so having a pick there is going to help us accelerate, the growth and get more wins faster. And that's what I want. And I can get into more stuff about some Bears history and some origin stuff maybe the next time I'm with you guys in the off season. And then we're starting to look ahead to the draft. But for right now, we want to see player progression. You're going to want to watch these games, see how they stack up against the Eagles. The Eagles will be a great team that you'll probably see go far in the postseason. And then a few more weeks after that, and then the eye to the offseason.
Going to be an incredible offseason. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, do it now. I'm assuming most of you have, but if you're just checking out the show for the first time, hit that subscribe button, turn your notifications on. Listen, our regular Bears show during the week is at noon, and then we've got Bears After Dark on Thursdays, and we've got Nick and Will were in here earlier today. You cannot get more coverage than you can get right here at CHGO, and this offseason is going to be the greatest offseason in the history of the Bears, damn it. That's what's
right.
going on.
That's right.
By the way, to our friends at FOCO, F-O-C-O, best coverage that I'm talking about. They also have the best in gear. Hoodies, slippers, signs, bobbleheads, everything that you need to be decked out like a true Bears fan. Perfect gift for the holidays. That's going on too. Check out FOCO.com, F-O-C-O.com, or click the link in the description below. All non-presale items. Use that promo code CHGO. You get 10% off. You're the most optimistic person of all time, though, so you don't think they're winning this week?
No, they're not. They'll probably lose by 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
You feel the same way. I believe our predictions are similar.
Yeah, I do have it tied at half. I got a 10-10 game at halftime, and then I got the Eagles walking into half, and Nick Sirianni looking at him and being like, "Will you freaking play?" And then,
yeah.
But
I don't see it going down like that. But I hope it does. It'll make for a better game.
And the Bears have been great at halftime making adjustments. So.
They've been in more games this year. I mean,
I
think we thought they would be. So yeah.
Daniel Cho, for the record, 2-handed backhand, and big win for me last night in the 4-5 B League. First, I got bumped up a level. Tennis is becoming a huge thing on the show. Apparently, got bumped up a level. Didn't want to get shut out. Didn't want to get a bagel in the next level, and I got my first win last night. So
wow,
took down and. Yeah, it was a good win. 7-6-6-0. Down went whoever the hell I played. I forget his name. Ramon? No, that's not right, but doesn't matter.
And I beat my daughter 3 straight games in Uno, which
doesn't
huge. Seem like it should be a huge achievement since, the age difference, but she usually just owns me. So, I felt pretty good about that.
That's good. That's absolutely impressive. Hey, thank you again to DraftKings for always sponsoring us at CHGO. $5 bet on any NFL game, $150 in free bets. You want to make your life way more exciting. Do the DraftKings deal. Download the app now. Get in on NFL or go holiday hoops, anything you want to do. Use that promo code CHGO. $5 on any NFL game, $150 in free bets, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Use that promo code CHGO. Thank you, Nathaniel Motter. It was a big night last night. I had a huge sigh of relief. And then I went home, and I actually stopped in at Myers Tavern. I was going to have a cheeseburger and a beer, and it was so crowded, and nobody paid attention to me. And I had my CHGO stuff in that. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go home and be a good young Carm. And I had my yogurt and my nuts and an orange, and it was yeah.
That's good.
That was the celebration.
Lots of protein there. Yeah.
See everybody tomorrow night who's ever coming out tomorrow night for Bulls and Knicks. Looking a lot of fun. Super excited.
And if you're not a diehard already, go to allchgo.com, become a diehard, and there's no better way to follow sports in this city than to watch and listen to what Carm, Hogue, and all the different personalities personalities we have here for Bears and all the other teams at CHGO. So for all the people, working behind the scenes like Steven and Kevin and Lawrence and Casey and Joey, et cetera, we appreciate it. And looking forward to tomorrow night. Should be a lot of fun to kind of, relax a little bit and watch a Bulls team in action.
Get a win. Let's go. Hopefully D Rose gets in. Come on, Tom Thibodeau. You can put him in there. Let's go. Come on. We all need to stand on our feet and salute D Rose, although the way Bulls fans have been this year. They haven't seized the moment the way I want them to. All right, we're back on Sunday with the Bears Show pregame at 11. Have a great rest of your night. Thank you so much for checking out CHGO. Thanks for Nick for jumping on CHGO for the first time tonight. We will see you for the Bears on Sunday.